You can choose how the D300s sets exposure by the metering modes. The exposure meter will tell the camera how much light to allow into the image sensor for a properly exposed image. The exposure indicator is a scale that appears in the viewfinder and on the control panel. The scale has a 0 in the middle and a plus and a minus sign on each end. A setting of 0 indicates optimal exposure. The more lines that appear to the right side of the scale toward the minus, the more the image will be underexposed. If lines appear toward the left side of the scale, the plus side, then the image will be overexposed. If the image is underexposed, the aperture, shutter speed, and ISO should be adjusted to let more light hit the sensor. If the image is overexposed, again adjust the aperture, shutter speed, and ISO to allow less light to hit the sensor. The exposure meter reads the amount of light in a particular area of the frame and indicates exposure based on that light. The D300s has 3 different metering modes that the camera can use to make that reading. To change the metering mode, you can access them using the metering selector on the camera body. The first option is the center weighted metering setting. This averages the center areas of the frame to get the exposure meter reading. This is a great metering mode for portraits. With the D300s, you can choose to have the center area weighted at the center 6, 8, 10, or 13 millimeters, or average the entire frame. To change the setting, press Menu. Highlight the Custom Setting menu, highlight Metering Exposure, select Center Weighted Area, and then make your selection. The next option is Matrix Metering. This looks at the entire image within the frame to determine proper exposure. The meter averages all areas of the frame to get the meter reading. This is a good general purpose metering mode when you do not need specific metering for any particular area of the frame. Spot metering is the final metering option. It takes the light reading from a small area of the frame. The camera will meter from the currently selected focus point. This will ensure that you get a correctly exposed subject if the background happens to be much brighter or darker than the subject.